All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome. I know we have a few teams on here. I'm super excited. Dave has been in the Shift Shop test group with me for the last now 7 weeks because we've gone on to round 3. And Dave has always been the person that A, has a lot of humor in his posts, and B, tells it like it is. I was telling my sister on the ride back because my sister was like, "Who's this Dave guy?" And I'm like, "Oh, he's in the test group and he's awesome." He's the one that when people weren't participating went live and was like, "You're not in the test group if you're not participating." um, so
I'm never going to live that down.
that was awesome though, because then all of a sudden everybody was participating, and it's so true. Like, you had the program early, but you're not actually in the test group if you're not participating. Like, it's what we all wanted to say, but nobody said it. And then Dave was like, "No, I'm going to say this."
Oh, man.
So Dave's got some like really great videos, really great posts like in that group that I think you've shared most of them on your personal page though, from what I've seen. So
Anyone that my wife wouldn't be offended by. Those are the ones that I post.
I love it. So you'll have to go check it out after the call, but just a quick recap of all of his stats. He's lost 160 pounds total, although that number may have changed recently with
It's back to that. It's back to exactly that. So
cool. 160 pounds total. 30 pounds were with the Shift Shop. He's an ultimate health transformation winner from Team Philly Fusion, and he's also a former fast food addict. 1,600 days without fast food. So yay! I'm gonna let you take it over, but I'm super excited, and you've got the floor, bud.
awesome. Well, thank you so much for the invitation. I always love jumping on team calls with complete strangers like your team is. So it's really exciting to be able to kind of share my journey and reach a few people that maybe I haven't been able to reach before. So that's really been my goal as a coach, is to be able to, one of the things that when I was in college, I had a sociology professor basically ask me, like, what do you want to do with your life? Do you want to make $1 million? Do you want to help 1 million people? And the obvious answer was, I want to help 1 million people. And maybe that's something that sociology professors have to say because they need people in the industry, in the social work realm, and we don't get paid shit. So that maybe that's his way of just kind of like enticing me to do that. Smart move, smart sales pitch. But it's true. It's something that I wanted to do. And so for me, my favorite part of being a coach is being able to, one, set an example, but two, be able to have that example be so impactful that people like you invite me on team calls to talk. So I really am appreciative of that, that you've invited me and that you think that I bring some value. So hopefully I will. I have like I said, my French press, my entire French press worth of coffee. So ready to go. So kind of when I jump on calls, I like to talk about my story. And my story has changed a lot with this Shift Shop journey. It's kind of added a new layer that really helped me understand why I've been successful in weight loss, what makes me successful, and how I can use that to help others become successful. And it all revolves around the word purpose. What I've realized is that when I don't have a purpose that's bigger than me, I fail. Because when my purpose is to lose weight, to get healthy, to look better, to all of these things that I guess you could consider selfish, when it all revolves around me, then I'm not as successful because I give up on myself all the time. And I don't think I'm alone there. And I think that's probably why most people are in Beachbody, because we're the type of people that can't walk into a gym and walk out 6 months later with a six-pack. We can't do that. We can't be lonely in our fitness journey. We have to be with other people. We have to work together. We have to have a positive community. And that's what I needed with Beachbody. So I went all in that aspect in my community. And you know, I now work as one of the head people in the Philadelphia Market Council. I put on the Super Saturdays. Anytime I get a chance to be around Beachbody people, I am, because it's why this company is what it is. It's not like we didn't reinvent fitness. We didn't reinvent how to eat well. All we did was we provided the most positive community on earth. And because of that, that's why we're successful. So that was taken to a whole new level with the Shift Shop test group. And it's funny you mentioned when I called everybody out. I did that. The funny part is I've been on probably since the test group started, probably 20 or so team calls from people who are in the test group. And that is literally, with unprovoked, that is the thing that everybody brings up about me. Dave, and I'll just set the scenario for you. We come into this test group. There's 300 coaches. These coaches are big-time coaches. I'm not a big-time, ranked coach, right? I have influence in my city because I'm on stage for Super Saturday. So people know me from that. But it's not like I'm a 15-star diamond coach, right? There are 15-star diamond coaches in this test group, and there's people from all over, from all realms of this of success, business-wise, fitness-wise, and everything. And so when I saw this, I'm like, this is incredible, because what we're doing with this test group is we are providing the example for the world of how successful this program can be. Now, if it was a test group for somebody like Sean T or Tony or Autumn or Joel and Jericho or any of them, it's different, because when Sean T puts his name on something, it turns to gold. When Tony, Autumn, it turns to gold. Nobody knows who the hell Chris Downing is, right? And so when we come into this test group and we see the value of this program, once we were in it for a week or two, I think it was week 2 when I called people out. Once we were in it for a couple of weeks, and I'm like, this program can change a lot of lives. And some of the most influential people in this test group aren't talking about it. And my exact words were, if I see you outside of this group promoting the fact that you're in the test group, I'm going to comment on your post and tell you that you weren't, unless you get in here and you start supporting people. And that's kind of universal. And the reason I bring that up in calls like this is not to show off the fact that I said that. It's because that's how all test groups should be. And that's how all challenge groups should be as well. Your people that you work in challenge groups with, and whether it's a coach, whether it's a challenger, they should be talking about their journey at all times. Not to show off, not to raise their shirt up and show their abs, not to show their before and after picture and say, look at me. It's because every single one of us in this company, every coach, every challenger, every person on this earth has an opportunity to change a life, with their journey, make an impact. How selfish of me to hold back my results because I'm embarrassed by it. What I realized, and when I talk about purpose, and I'll get into this a little more as it pertains to my journey, what I realized real quick was my purpose was to be the 350-pound guy that proves to every other 350-pound human being on this earth that you can do the hardest program Beachbody's ever produced. If I would have gotten the results that I got and not told anybody about it, then me being in the test group I shouldn't have been there. There was no point. Us being in the test group and your challengers being in your challenge group, if you find success with one person, if you help one person completely change their life, do you realize the ripple effect of that? Do you realize what their transformation can bring to the world? It's absolutely incredible. Maybe you'll never talk to those people who are inspired by your challenger. But there are so many examples of people in this company who were on the fence of, do I want to wake up tomorrow? Do I want to end my life tonight? And rather than doing that, they saw a transformation. They saw somebody that changed their life. They saw an inspirational post on Facebook, and because of that, they didn't do it. Prime example, the girl that you're going to see on stage at Summit in a couple weeks, her name is Andrea Barlow. I've worked with her since the beginning, about 3 years. Her story, her transformation, her 200-plus pound weight loss story started in her bathroom when she brought an extension cord and a knife to decide which way she was going to kill herself. That's how her transformation journey started. And now she's going to be standing on stage, and from everything that I've heard and everything that I've seen, she's going to be winning $100,000 as the Beachbody Grand Prize champion. The greatest female transformation in Beachbody this year, maybe ever. That's the difference between you sharing your shit and you keeping it to yourself. So the next time somebody tells you, stop showing off, tell them that. Tell them what showing off has done for people in this company. Tell them why you joined. Tell them the community, the people, the support. Too many times in this company are we scared to share our truth. The problem is what we start doing is we start sharing our highlight reel. We start sharing this facade of perfection. And when we do that, people will like your stuff every once in a while and say good job and all of that, and it gets you nowhere. But when you share something vulnerable, and I'm not talking about a sympathy post, I'm not talking about a poor me post. When you share something vulnerable, when you share where you actually are, you're going to get more support than you've ever gotten in your life. And I mean, the proof is in the pudding. If you go do it right now, if you go tell the world, you know what, I'm struggling with addiction. I'm smoking, I'm drinking, I'm spending too much money online. I'm in the middle of a tough place in my relationship, in my financials, in my job. If you start talking about that and you put it out in the world and you say, this is where I'm struggling, this is what I want to work on in my next challenge group, do you want to come do that with me? Rather than saying, hey, I'm the fittest person you know, I'm a Beachbody coach, so that makes me the best. Do you want to join my challenge group because I'm the best and I'm going to tell you what to do? Screw that. That doesn't work. It doesn't work. Nobody who went to high school with you or goes to work with you is going to look at you as a superior. They're just not going to do it. So why not align yourself with them and say, look, I'm a Beachbody coach, not because I'm better than you, but because I want to better myself. So if you want to join me on this journey, let's do it. And here's where I'm vulnerable, and here's what I am going to work on in this challenge group. It's not just going to be me telling you what to do. It's going to be us working together, reading the same personal development, doing the same program, especially with Shift Shop, because a lot of you guys have no idea what Shift Shop is or what it's about. You've never experienced it in your life. Why don't you just align yourself with the people for your Shift Shop challenge group and all of you experience it together? That's the best thing to do. But that's what this journey needs to be, no matter who you are, no matter where you are. Align yourself with people. Do not be the expert. Do not be the fitness expert, the nutrition expert. Just be a friend. Because, look, there are plenty of fitness and nutrition experts that screw it up all the time, right? Just be somebody that's there to support them, because that's exactly why you're in this community. You're not in this community to idolize Bonnie Engel. You're not in this community to idolize Shaun T or Autumn. There are no celebrities here, right? There's celebrity trainers, but there's no celebrity coaches, right? So if you think that facade of perfection is helping you or making you feel better about yourself, it's not. It's exactly what Chris was talking about in his call. Do you love yourself for real? Like, do you love yourself enough to admit to the shit that's holding you back? And once you admit to that stuff, do you love yourself enough to put it out into the world and say, look, this is what I'm working on? My biggest problem with Beachbody coaches, and I've done this too, my biggest problem is when we start to fail, when we start to give up, when we start to cheat, what we do is we disappear. We stop posting about Beachbody. We stop posting about health and nutrition. We start posting pictures of our kids and our dogs and our whatever, and we start posting like funny stuff, and we start disappearing from the health stuff. And then we come back with this, like, I'm healthy again, like whatever, 4 months later, and you're like, yeah, I'm restarting my journey. This is what I'm doing. For the past 4 months, I've been in a hole, but now I'm back. Right? And so you wait until you're good again to admit that shit went wrong 4 months ago, rather than just saying 4 months ago, I feel like I'm in a hole right now. Can somebody help me up? And it doesn't have to be, you don't have to search for one person. Just say, I need like 5 people in a group, and I need this test group right now, and I need all of us to work together. Say that, because that's what this is. That's what we're doing. Nobody here is an expert. No one. I mean, some people may be. That may be what they do for a living, but the title of coach, there's nowhere in the description of expert. So, I don't even know where I went with that, but I'm glad I went there. Going back to my journey, I don't know if you guys have heard my story or seen my story, but it really, it started when I was very young. I am a large human being, and I will be forever, and I always have been. I was 33 pounds at 3 months old, according to my mom. So I'm Big Dave, and I will be Big Dave forever. Even if no matter how much weight I lose, I will always be Big Dave. So I'm still like 6'5". So I'm still like the giant I'm like the elephant in the herd of zebras. So it started back when I was in high school. I was an athlete. I was given the opportunity I played at a high level. I was an All-American when I was in high school, played football. And I was a kid who every parent would just feed me all the food because I was a growing boy. And all NFL players have to be 350 pounds, so I had to be big. And that's how you got recruited and all that. So it kind of all started there. And when I was given that opportunity to pretty much eat whatever I wanted, my parents owned businesses, so they would just leave me $20 bills to feed myself for dinner and that kind of stuff. And when I ended up going to college, the coaches there basically said, look, you got to do something about your weight. You can't play here if at 365 pounds. You just can't do it. You got to lose weight. And my coach told me to lose 80 pounds. So the only way I could play football at this school, I was on scholarship. I was one of the heralded recruits. The only way I could play football at that school is if I lost 80 pounds. And I graduated high school in January, which is a half a year early in Pennsylvania. And obviously in that second semester, there's prom. I was given the opportunity to come back for prom. So graduated in January, was told on January 3rd that I needed to lose 100 pounds. When I came back on May 3rd, or I was told I needed to lose 80 pounds on January 3rd by my coach. When I came back for my prom in May, I had lost 100 pounds. And my coaches or my teachers barely even recognized me. Problem was, I did it the wrong way. I starved myself. I only drank coffee. I didn't drink water. I would eat once a day. I would sit in a sauna. I would dehydrate myself before weigh-ins. And I ended up losing all that weight in the most unhealthy way possible. I was a 270-pound anorexic. Apparently it is possible because that's what I was. But the first time that I almost lost my life because of my mental deficiencies around weight was in my freshman year of college when it was, 100 degrees on the field. And like it was on turf. I don't know if you know about turf, but turf is always like 20 degrees hotter than what it is outside. And so we were out on the turf and we're running sprints after. So how it works was Wednesdays was weigh-in day for football. And so Wednesdays I would sit in the sauna before workouts so that I would weigh in less, because every time I weighed in less, coaches were happy. I'm not blaming it on them, but that's just the way it was. They didn't have time to individually check on how everybody was losing weight. They just gave you a goal and gave you a workout, and then whatever you did on your own, you did on your own, right? And so what I did on my own was I worked out 5 hours a day, didn't eat, didn't drink water, and dehydrated myself. So that's what I was doing on Wednesday, weigh-in day. So I get on the scale. It's a good number. We do our full workout. I made it through the workout, chugging Gatorade the whole time. And then the coach blows the whistle, and he says, all freshmen need to go down on the field for extra sprints. And I'm like, well, shit, because I was cramping up at the end of the workout, but I didn't want to tell him I was because it's weakness. And if you guys have played sports, you know how this works. And so we went down and we had to do 10 sprints. 10 sprints, not that bad, right? Something we do, whatever. It's not even that bad. So I remember starting my 8th sprint and waking up in a hospital bed. And the doctor, I had an IV in my arm, and I woke up to the second bag of fluids that was being pumped into me. And the doctor basically looked at me and he said, you shouldn't be here right now. What are you doing to yourself? How are you this dehydrated? And he said that even my chest cavity, like my ribs, were caving in on my organs. My organs have been so big for so long, and then I lost lost all of this weight, and I was kind of caving in on myself. So I wasn't getting enough oxygen to my body. My heart was harder to pump, and I nearly lost my life. And so it was kind of in that moment that I realized, like, I got to make a decision here. Do I stay here at this school where, all of this stuff is happening to me? Do I leave? And if I leave this school, do I give up on that opportunity to, possibly play in the NFL and do those things that in my mind I was destined to do? And a year and a half later, everything just kind of came down on itself, and I had to leave that school. So I left that school. The new school that I went to allowed me to eat whatever I wanted. I played football, wasn't at the same level. I wasn't going to the NFL anymore. I had to figure something else out. And so I was depressed. I was, I had anxiety. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. There was only one path back then, and I was on my way. I was an All-American. I was playing well, even in college. And then I had to just kind of give it up because I couldn't control myself around food. And so I went to this new school, and they didn't care what I ate. That was a blessing and a curse, because it was a blessing because now I wasn't killing myself trying to starve myself and make weight. Now I was killing myself in the other direction. I started eating fast food. And while I'm burning 5,000 calories a day playing football, I could get away with eating some fast food. I was still gaining weight, but I could get away with it. But then once you're done, that craving for fast food that I had didn't go away. So I stopped working out for 5, 6, 7 hours a day playing football, and I kept eating the same way I was eating before, and it actually got worse. I had a job where I was in sales, where I was driving around all over the place, and I was literally working 10 hours a day, and nearly every single one of my meals was fast food or processed food. I didn't pack my own lunch. All I did was I would stop at drive-thrus because I didn't have a lunch break or a dinner break or a breakfast break. I was working on commission, so I was so laser focused on that I wasn't focused on my nutrition. And because of that, I developed a fast food addiction. And for 3.5 years, I ate fast food nearly every single meal. My wife did the math on it a couple years ago. And over the course of that 3.5 years, I think she said I spent nearly $12,000 on fast food. So it was a $400 a month bill. So the next time somebody tells you that Shakeology is expensive, tell them that. Because it's the real deal, man. Like, fast food seems cheap, but what we don't realize is you have to eat a lot more of it to be satisfied. And, and that's what got me. And so October rolls around, or October 2012. I start feeling this heartburn. And rather than, I'm spending, what am I spending? $40, $50 on Prilosec every week. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I have this constant heartburn all day long. I can't even in my mind attribute it to food. I have, honestly, even just to back up a little further, after my college days and after being so obsessed with the scale and losing weight and stuff like that, I developed this sort of body dysmorphia where no matter what, even now when I look in the mirror, I don't see changes. Like when I have to see a before and after picture to even notice that I've lost weight. And I have to when I look in the mirror, I see the same person no matter what. It sounds weird. It sounds crazy. I work in mental health. I understand that it's real and I understand what it is, but for some people, they don't even understand it. Like I'll walk, even after shift shop, I lost whatever it was, 40 pounds in 40 days. And I would walk into, people's houses that I hadn't seen since I started the journey. They're like, wow, you look great. And I look at myself, I'm like, I didn't see it. So I had that, and I had this going now in the wrong way. I was gaining weight and not realizing it. I mean, even I would buy bigger size clothes, bigger size pants. It's still not even put 2 and 2 together, right? And so I didn't know I was gaining weight. I didn't know the food was killing me, but I knew I had this heartburn. And so I go to the doctor, and I schedule the appointment specifically saying I have heartburn and I want to get heartburn medication. And so October 28th, 2012, I walk into the doctor's office. And what does the doctor, or what's the first thing you do when you go to a doctor's office? The nurse tells you to do what? It takes your vitals, tells you to get on the scale, right? And so I, being the charismatic, savvy salesman that I was, would tell people that I don't fit on conventional scales. I weigh 355. Conventional scales go up to what? 350 pounds. I knew very well that I was over 355 pounds, but that's what I would tell people. So that's what I told this nurse. You don't have to worry about taking my weight. Just put down 355. I won't fit on your scale. She looks at me and she goes, actually, this scale goes up to 450 pounds. It's a digital scale. And that was my oh shit moment. Now I can't just say, I weigh 455 because I didn't believe that. And why would I ever admit to that? No way. So now I had to face the magnitude of that lie. I knew I didn't weigh 355, but now I'm going to figure out how much I actually weigh. When you lie to people, here's the thing. When you lie to people, it's comforting to think that like your lie isn't that big of a lie. It's comforting to think that like maybe like you're not lying that much, or maybe they don't know, or that it's not obvious. But if I step on this scale and it's some crazy number, I'm going to know that when I tell those people I weigh 355, they know I'm lying out of my ass. So now I have to kind of admit to that, right? Which is scary. So I take off as much clothes as I can while still being comfortable. I like do a couple jumping jacks to maybe like let more sweat out. Maybe I'll like lose a pound just doing jumping jacks in the office. I didn't actually do jumping jacks. I probably should have done jumping jacks actually. But I didn't do that. So I step on the scale, and it's the digital scale. It's like right there, right in front of you, right? I step on the scale, and it's reading, and it says error. And so I get off the scale and I tell the nurse, there's something wrong with your scale. She goes, I think it's fine. We just had somebody on it. I'll test it. And if any of you guys are nurses in here, this nurse tested that scale every day by weighing herself. That's scary. Like, that takes some balls. Like, you have to weigh yourself every day. Actually, that's probably good accountability, but man. But that's what she did. She stepped on it, was reading fine. She told me to get back on. I get back on, reading, error. Was a 450-pound scale, and I didn't fit on it. I went to the doctor's office. The doctor saw, my vitals, saw my weight. He looked at me. He asked me a bunch of questions. And then he wrote down a list. This was a list of the things that I was currently facing or was going to be facing if I continued what I was doing. It was a list, we're talking about heart disease, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, diabetes, all of these things that somebody, a sick person my father's age should be facing. And I'm facing this list at 26 years old. And as I get up to leave the doctor's office, he stops me and he says, look, I don't know what you're doing to yourself, and I don't know if anybody's ever told you this, but if you continue doing what you're doing, you will not see 30 years old. That, in the moment, I brushed it off. I was like, that's nothing. He doesn't know what he's talking about. As I'm walking out of the doctor's office, it's starting to hit me. And by the time I got to my car, I couldn't put my key in the ignition because of how bad I was shaking. I put my hands on the steering wheel. My entire body was sweating. I guess I was having an anxiety attack. And I started sobbing because just a couple months prior, I had married my wife. This person, I had been with her since middle school. And today I just found out that, okay, a couple months ago we got married, but now I have to come home and tell you, remember when we talked about having kids? Remember when we talked about all of the things we wanted to do with our lives, with our careers? Remember all of that? Well, now you have to do that with somebody else because I'm going to die. Because even in that moment when I sat there in my car, knowing what was killing me, I had no idea how to change it. And I had always been a person that would run from those problems. And so in that moment in the car, I contemplated running. I looked at my bank account. I looked at what I could do. How could I get the hell out of here and just write a letter to somebody 10 years from now saying, this is why I left. 10 years from now, I wouldn't even have made it. And in that moment of sobbing, I started trying to blame other people. I tried to blame those coaches that made me lose weight. I tried to blame my parents who would leave me a $20 bill for Domino's rather than cooking me dinner. I tried to blame all of these other people, all of these other circumstances, my genetics. I started trying to blame all these people, and in the midst of trying to blame everything else, something inside of me made me look in my rearview mirror directly at myself and say, shut up. And so I did. Problem was, that voice that told me to shut up faded away on my drive home. And it took until something as simple as a New Year's resolution to actually begin my journey. And why do I bring that up? Well, I bring that up because as coaches, what do we hope for? We hope for this amazing life-changing moment in people's lives. We hope that people could have that moment that I had in that doctor's office. The truth is, those moments don't change lives. And when it comes to a health and fitness journey, there is no life-changing moment. I was talking to one of my military buddies one time, and he made a great point. There are very few life-changing moments in this world. You want to know what a life-changing moment is? When you go to war, you're in a bunker, a bomb goes off, and you lose your legs. That's a life-changing moment. But in a fitness journey, there is no life-changing moments. There are a million moments that encompass this journey. So no matter how profound one moment is, it will not change your life. That moment should have been the beginning of a journey, and it wasn't, because after that moment, I went back to fast food. I had that doctor's visit, I think was like on a Wednesday or something. That Friday, I ordered Domino's. And it was something as simple as a New Year's resolution that people mock all the time. New Year's resolutions. They mock them. That's what changed my life. Or was that, no, excuse me, that didn't change my life. That was the beginning of the change. And so I decided. I got my wedding pictures back. I saw how big I was at my wedding. Absolutely embarrassing, absolutely awful. My wife looked incredible, and I looked like that. That is still going to haunt me for the rest of my life. But the only thing I could do about those pictures was make sure that the next time I took a picture with my wife in a place like that, I looked better. And so I started by giving up fast food. And that was on December 31st, 2012. And today, I think it's day 1638, 37 without fast food. What I love about that goal, what I love about what I did then, was that it was measurable every single meal of every single day. The biggest problem I see with people nowadays is they set this goal of, I want to lose 100 pounds, and then they don't set anything else. What happens in between? If the only way that you gauge your success is if you hit that 100-pound weight loss mark, if that's it, if that's your only success, if that's your only win, you will not find success. So what I decided to do was, I'm not going to eat fast food. Now I can measure wins. 3 meals a day and a snack. Breakfast, did you eat fast food? No, that's a win. Lunch, dinner, snack, whatever. It's all wins. And every single day I had these little measurable wins until I stopped counting them. Until it doesn't matter anymore because I'm never going back. So if I can give you one piece of advice, in your challenge groups, do not make weight the goal. Do not make dress size the goal. Do not make any of that big stuff the goal. Let that be something that they see, but make the goals small and measurable every single day. Make every day a success in some way or another. Because people do insanity. They'll do 59 days of insanity or whatever it is, 50 days of insanity. And they'll miss one day and then they'll give up for a month because they think that one day ruined everything because their goal was to finish insanity. That's just not the case. Right? That day sucked, right? That day was a failure. Don't be scared to call it a failure. Don't be scared to use that word failure. The most successful people, the people that you admire in this world are all failures. And they've all failed way more than they succeeded, right? Don't be afraid to allow somebody to be a failure at some point in their life, right? Because, and even some people say, well, you're not a failure. You just messed up. No, today I've been a failure many days, but I am not a failure. I've been a failure many days, but I am not a failure because I've had more successes now that I've started this journey than I have had failures. So I am a success. It's just the law of numbers, right? And so many people do that because they set these broad, huge goals and they don't set daily goals. And when you don't have a daily win, then everything gets monotonous. And Shift Shop is the first program that I've done that hasn't been monotonous, just because of the way it's set up. And we'll talk about that at the end. But like Insanity, when you're doing Insanity and you're doing pure cardio every single Thursday of the whole, like, man, that gets monotonous if you're not setting goals. If you're doing a program, whatever it is, like 21 Day Fix, you're doing 15 rounds in a row and you don't have daily goals, it's going to get monotonous. And then you're going to find little cheats, and then you're going to do that little cheat every single round. And then that little cheat is going to go from every single round to every single day. And then you're going to allow yourself to get off track, right? Some people, I've seen this 1,000 times. People will be doing a program. You're not allowed to drink. But on their 5th round, they had a drink, and nobody told them not to. Isn't that amazing? Nobody said, oh, no, you can't have that Jack and Coke. Nobody said that. Matter of fact, people were like, finally, finally you had a shot of Fireball with me. And then, so maybe it didn't become a daily thing right away, but maybe it was like, okay, every Friday and Saturday, I'm going to have this. I'm going to go out and drink. I'm going to go out and drink margaritas, sugary, whatever, frozen margaritas. I'm going to go out and do this with my girlfriends. And then it turned into every Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then that's every single week of every single round. And then you're like 16 rounds into 21 Day Fix, and you're like, I'm back at my start weight. What happened? This program must not work. And I'm not even saying it's you guys, but I'm saying challengers will definitely think like that. You guys have the accountability of your teams. You have people calling you on your shit, I hope. And if you don't, just hire me. I will call you out right away. It's no problem. All right. It's just $5 for the year. And I will constantly just call you out every chance I get. Actually, I will do that. But seriously, the challengers out there, if they don't have people calling them on that kind of stuff, then they're going to allow themselves to do that, because they aren't as much in the game as we are, right? So you've got to keep an eye on that stuff. But when that happens, that's the snowball effect, and that happens to everybody. So those daily goals are so, so, so important. So where am I in my journey? I'm just starting. Okay. I cut out fast food, and I get to I'm not a Beachbody coach. I'm not a Beachbody challenger. I don't even know what the hell Beachbody is. Funny thing is, March rolls around, and I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but March 2013, Shaun T had this thing called a birthday challenge. I don't know if you guys remember that. And it was a round of insanity that he was going to do with everybody. And at the end of it, there would be a winner, and he would fly out to that person's house and work out with them in their personal gym. So this pops up on my timeline, this birthday challenge thing. And I'm like, Shaun T looks familiar. Sure enough, I had Insanity, and I bought it in like 2011. How I bought it is a funny story, and probably a story that a lot of people have. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. I was hammered, and I was cooking a DiGiorno pizza when Shaun T's infomercial for Insanity came on TV. I was living in Las Vegas at the time, so 3 o'clock in the morning might as well be 3 o'clock in the afternoon there. So I get home, and I'm hammered, and I'm cooking this pizza. I turn on the TV, and it's the Insanity infomercial. And it's basically like Shaun T's yelling directly at me. It's like one of my football coaches is yelling at me. So I'm like, you know what? I can do those moves. I'm an athlete. I was like 400 some pounds when I was saying this. I had no idea. I could do those moves. So I guess I ordered it. And I say I guess I ordered it because when it showed up at my apartment, I didn't know that I ordered it. I thought it was somebody that was playing a trick on me, or like telling me that I needed to lose weight. So they sent it to me as a gift or something. That's literally, I had to check my bank statement. And the most amazing thing was, back then, those programs were like $200. So it was like, that was a lot of money. But like, I was like, God, oh my God, like I had to like hide it from my, like I didn't even know what to do. Like $200 on this program that I know I'm never going to do. So I was like, you know what? I spent $200 on it. I'm going to try it. And I tried it, and I turned it off, and I never tried it again. Like, I was like, no way. Like the first one, I think I put on pure cardio because it was the shortest one. And I was like, nope. No, I'm not doing this program. Like, are you kidding me? Like, first of all, I was in like a second floor apartment, so I couldn't even imagine what it sounded like underneath. I'm a 400-pound guy trying to do pure cardio, just not working out. So I just put it right back in, just put it away, and it was gone. But then a friend of mine on Facebook shared Shaun T's birthday challenge thing, and they were like, I'm doing this. Does anybody want to join me? And I'm like, wait, I have that program. And I had been going strong with fast food for a couple months. So I'm like, okay, maybe this will be the start to my fitness journey. Still didn't really know what Beachbody was. I just knew Shaun T. And so this is what I did. I said, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start this journey, and I'm going to tell all of my friends on Facebook that I'm doing this, and I'm going to post every single day about my workout and my meal plan. And if I don't post, I want you guys to call me, text me, message me, whatever you got to do to make sure that I get this done. Because, not because I wanted to get in shape, but because I wanted to work out with Shaun T. Like, I was like, Shaun T is going to be my boy. He's going to fly to Philly. We're going to become friends. We're going to film a reality show where he helps me lose like 200 pounds. And that's the way it's going to be, because that's just how it is. So that's what I'm thinking is going to happen, right? And so I start Insanity, and I go 63 days, perfect. 63 perfect days. I have my friends holding me accountable. I have my family holding me accountable. My wife was doing it with me. I'm going to be best friends with Shaun T. Awesome. Can't wait for that, right? And so we get to the final day of Insanity. Shaun T comes on, it's his birthday. It's called his birthday challenge because it ended on his birthday. And he comes on, and he's like, thanks for all the birthday wishes. I just want to give a quick shout out to everybody in the birthday challenge. He shouted me out. He's like, Dave McClain had great results, because I weighed myself at the end of those 63 days, and I had lost 55 pounds in 63 days. And I started the challenge at like 400 and some pounds. And so I'd lost 55 pounds. And when I saw that number on the scale, I looked at it and I was like, I'm working out with Shaun T. Like, nobody got these results. I didn't even care about my physical. I was like, who cares if I lost 55 pounds? I'm working out with Shaun T. And so he gets on and he's like, you know, Dave McClain lost 55 pounds. And so I'll I'll come on here later and announce the winner. And he comes on, he's like, great job, guys. I have the winner right here. I'm so proud of everybody. And the winner was chosen at random. We'll let that sink in. I don't even know if you heard that correctly. The winner was chosen at random. So that means it had nothing to do with results, had nothing to do with, like, there was 15,000 people that did this challenge. The winner was chosen at random. I didn't win. Some 110-pound chick from Topeka, Kansas. I don't even know. Like, who cares? Whatever. She doesn't have a reality show with Shaun T. She didn't do with it what I could have done with it. I'm upset about it still. And the funny thing is, I was so upset about it that I went back 63 days on his freaking timeline to see the rules of this challenge. And this was before Beachbody was like real strict about rules. Like when we signed up for the test group, I felt like I was signing my life away. Like I was literally scared. They were like, here, yeah, if you go off the program, we will have 3 black cars waiting outside of your house. That's almost a joke. So I went back, looked at the rules. Sure enough, right there, the winner of the birthday challenge will be chosen at random in the rules. To this day, that's the most important sentence I forgot to read in my entire life. Had I read that sentence, I never would have done that challenge. I may have never started Beachbody. But what I learned from that was purpose. The purpose of the possibility of, winning this challenge is what drove me to be successful. It wasn't the purpose of me losing weight. It was the purpose of winning this challenge, right? And so that gave me purpose. Then came another purpose, because after losing that 55 pounds, I won $500 with the Beachbody challenge. Awesome, $500. Thank you. But when you win $500, then you get in the running to win 1,000, and then you get in the running to win more and more and more, right? So I won $1,000. Thank you, $1,000. Awesome, more purpose, right? And so then they say, hey, did you know that there's this Beachbody challenge thing that you can do where like people like vote on you, and like if you get the best results, you get to be on stage at Summit and you get to possibly win $100,000. Hell no, I didn't know that existed, but now that's my purpose. So that became my purpose. And so how it works is there's $5,000, there's $25,000, there's $100,000. In each tier, there's voting, right? And so my purpose became winning the Beachbody Challenge. And this is when my journey went from a selfish journey to an unselfish journey, because I realized what the Beachbody Challenge actually was. The Beachbody Challenge was visibility. The money is whatever, right? You win a lot of money, but you get the visibility, and with the visibility, you then can transform lives. So I found that purpose. That's when I became a Beachbody coach. And it was funny because in my first 3 months as a Beachbody coach, or my first 2 months as a Beachbody coach, I think I got like 80 Success Club points. And that was because prior to that point, I was doing everything a Beachbody coach does without selling, without being a freaking billboard, without acting like everybody else. I was just sharing my journey, sharing what I was eating, sharing my results. And people were like, I want that. How do I get that? And I was like, I don't know, like sit in your house at 3 o'clock in the morning, cook a DiGiorno pizza, and watch the infomercial. That's how I did it. And they were like, oh, I don't want to do that. And then thank God I probably lost a lot of them, but a lot of them waited. And I was like, oh, now I'm a coach. Now you can come join me. And so that was awesome. But I learned a lot from that too, which that's a whole nother call for a different day. But just remember that. Don't be a billboard. Don't share what other people share. Don't share what Beachbody shares. Make your own graphics. Dude, I have like 4 apps on my phone that makes every graphic I have look exactly like Beachbody's, just better, because I am way more handsome than all. No, I'm kidding. But like, you make your own stuff, be your own boss, act like Beachbody is your company. Don't act like you work for them, and you're going to be successful, because people are going to look at your stuff and be like, that doesn't look like Beachbody stuff. What are you doing? Well, I'm doing Beachbody, but it's just a little different over here. So come over here and make yourself stand out, because there's 300,000. I don't even know how many coaches there are. There's a bajillion coaches, and if you share something, I guarantee you that your friends have probably 10 Beachbody coach friends. And so if you share the same thing they share, it's just like when you're driving down the road, you see a really cool billboard. The next time you see it, it's not as shiny. The time you see it after that, you're going to drive right past it, right? Don't be the one they drive past. So keep everything new. Keep everything awesome and shiny for people. I digress. This is what this call is going to be, by the way. It's just going to be me going off on 10 because I don't have notes. That's my problem. I should have had notes. I have lemons and I have coffee. So I hope you guys are ready, because I'm going till midnight. No, it's lemons. They just smell nice. So Beachbody Challenge. So I'm in the running for the $5,000 for the Beachbody Challenge. And my voting, because I am a shameless promoter, and I actually had a big team behind me of people from Philly, we broke the internet in the voting, right? It was like the website crashed. The entire Beachbody website crashed because myself and another guy named Casey Walker, who ended up being like my eternal enemy, if you know who he is. Me and him had huge followings behind us. At that point, I had lost like 120 pounds. He lost like 150 pounds. And so the two of us were going back and forth for voting for this 5,000, like broke the internet. And so at the end of that, he beat me by like a handful of votes for $5,000. Heartbreaking. And because that's something that I really wanted and something that I really worked for. And then so after that, I hit this lull of like gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight, losing weight. And then they called me and they said, hey, we know you lost this challenge, but because Casey Walker is in a different age group or whatever, or I forget what it was, because Casey and you guys are so good, you're still 2 of the top ones, so we're going to put you guys against each other again. And so we went against each other again for the 25,000. Same result, right? He beat me out. And then the Ultimate Health Transformation came about, where I don't know if you guys know, but there's grand prize, and then there's Ultimate Health Transformation. Ultimate Health Transformation wins 25,000. So I was in the top 4 for that. You know, we went to Summit, wined and dined. We got like the best treatment ever. It was incredible. I got to do things that I would never be able to do, meet people I would never be able to meet. And I lost that as well. And then the next year I lost $100,000. I was number 5. I came in 5th out of the top 4, so I didn't even get to go. I had like, and it's funny because I'm like best friends with the Beachbody Challenge people now, because they like see me all the time, and they're going to see me again thanks to Shift Shop. Sucks. I'm going to be winning again this year. I'm going to figure that out. I don't think anybody's ever won 3 times, so I'm going to try. I'm going to make it happen. Don't tell me no, damn it. But the cool thing that came out of that was I gained so much experience through that. And I really think, and I'm talking about purpose again, my purpose was to win the Beachbody Challenge before, to get on that stage. And now my purpose is to make Andrea Barlow the next Beachbody champion. And we already have Kevin Drennan from Philly. These names may mean nothing to you, but Kevin Drennan is also somebody that I've worked with or helped work with from Philly. He won the Ultimate Health Transformation. So he's going to be that winner holding the check on the stage. And then Andrea Barlow is also going to be on stage, and with all the stars aligned, she will also win. So both the winners will be from Philly, and I see the purpose there, and it's purpose. And every single time I was successful in this business, it was because of purpose, not because of me wanting to get healthy and me wanting to look better and me wanting to, because I've given up on myself too many times with that. Now, the end result of that purpose is me getting healthy, is me looking better, is all of those things that are incredible and making me feel better about myself. But it's got to be about more than that for everybody. So what happened? I found this purpose in helping Andrea and Kevin get to an end result that I could never get to. So where did my energy go? Purpose can be a blessing and it can be a curse. Where did my energy go? My energy went to them, and it went away from me. I stopped being consistent with my workouts. I stopped being consistent with my eating because I started focusing too much on them. Coaches, I'm telling you, this will happen to you. This will happen to you a lot, where you get so excited about one of your challengers or your challenge group's transformations that you stop taking care of yourself. And what you're going to end up doing is you're not going to be honest with them. You're not going to be honest with people. You're just going to say, you're going to start sharing other people's results rather than sharing yours. And not because you don't want to share your results, but not because you want to share them and you want to spotlight them, but because you don't want to spotlight yourself. And you don't want to spotlight yourself, not because you're humble, but because you're embarrassed. This is exactly where I was. So I was sharing Kevin and Andrea's stuff and not sharing my own because I knew that I was going backwards. So in the time of my last weigh-in that I had to send the Beachbody for the Beachbody Challenge and the start of my Shift Shop test group weigh-in, I gained 67 pounds in that time in the matter of probably a year. And so what's kind of funny about how I got invited to the test group, so like I said, I MC the Philadelphia Super Saturday events. Well, we happened to have a couple guys from corporate at our last event. This is the event like right prior to the invitations being sent out. And I saw pictures of myself at that event, and it wasn't until then that I realized I had gained all of the weight when I saw those pictures. Just so happens that there's two guys from corporate there, seeing this guy that's clearly overweight, emceeing an event in front of whatever 500, 600 Philadelphia Beachbody coaches. To me, it seemed like that invitation came a little too quick after that event because, and Jeff Magnuson, I love him, Kim Carver, love them, but I'm thinking that maybe they saw this guy that had gained a bunch of weight on stage and he needed to do something about it. And I took offense to it at the beginning, but I like taking offense to stuff like that because that means people are being real with me and not sugarcoating me. So the burn hurt. The burn felt good a little bit. Is that weird? But yeah, I definitely got burned there. And so Jeff shoots me a Facebook message. He goes, check your email. I check my email, and I get this invitation to this program that I've heard of but had no idea what to expect. And so I get that invitation, and immediately I thought back to all of the times that I was successful with Beachbody. And like I've said a bunch of times, it all came down to purpose, something bigger than myself. So when I joined the Shift Shop test group, my purpose had to be bigger than me, and my purpose became proving to the world what's possible with this program. And I didn't want that to be selfish. I wanted to make sure everybody in that test group had the same motivation because everybody in our test group is so different and so unique in such an awesome way that there's no way in hell that anybody in the country cannot relate to at least one person in this group in one way or another. Because of that, there's a lot of responsibility in a test group. And what I found was, like, literally it's just one word that changes between test group and challenge group. It's just that one word, just that first word, test and challenge. So what in going through this test group, Anytime I wanted to cheat, anytime I wanted to skip, anytime I wanted to take a day off, I would think about all of those people that were watching me and looking at me when I started that journey at 367 pounds is where I started my shift shop journey. Looking at me then, seeing me as a reflection of them, and looking and me providing them the hope for a better tomorrow. If I skip today, if I cheat today, who am I letting down? I never thought that I was letting myself down because myself was never my motivation. I knew that I was letting a lot of people down that were watching my journey. When I started Shift Shop, I invited everybody that I knew that was over 300 pounds to a group to watch me transform. I put the pressure on myself. I told them, I said, you need to watch this, and you need to hold me accountable, and you need to see what's possible here. And so I put that pressure on myself, and in putting that pressure on myself, that pressure became purpose, and that purpose became results. And those results were awesome, just like everybody else in the test group. Everybody else that had purpose. There are some, I will admit, and this is being recorded, I'm not afraid to admit it, there are some people in that test group that went into it all about themselves, and they're not in the test group anymore. We had options to move on to a round 3, round 4, whatever it is, round 2, round 3, round 4. Those people aren't in it anymore. And the people that found purpose, the people that realized what that love Chris, freaking love Chris Downing, and you guys will love Chris Downing. When I heard Chris talk, first of all, when he first started talking in that test group, I was immediately jealous because I see a guy who's in a place that I want to be, doing things that I want to do. And I'm like, this is like the most incredible thing I've ever seen. He's exactly where I want to be in my life, and just a couple years older than me. And I'm not there yet. I was a little jealous. And then I realized, you know what? Maybe my purpose, just like before, maybe my purpose isn't to be on that stage at Summit. Maybe my purpose isn't to be the super trainer, but maybe my purpose is to be the one that gets on his hands and knees so that Chris could step on my back and get to where he needs to go. And the only way that I'm going to be able to hold him up is if I'm successful here, is if I do this right, is if I follow this program the way I'm supposed to follow it, is if I get these results and if I prove to the world that this program is what it is. And so that's what I decided to do. And we had, there's people in this test group that it's just all of us are standing on top of each other's backs to lift this guy Chris up, not because we want him to be famous, but because he freaking deserves it. He deserves it. In Shift Shop, the hardest workout you will do in Shift Shop, speed 50, super speed. There's a point in the workout where he slaps a marker and he says, I will not let my ego stop me from doing what I want to do. Something along, I paraphrase that. He talks about the fact that he will not let ego stop him from doing what he wants to do. In that moment right there, I was a Chris Downing fan for life. It's so hard to do that in a position that he's in. Once you hear his story and you understand where he came from, it is 99.9% impossible for him to be where he is. He is the 0.1%. And because of that, this world needs him, and Beachbody needs him, and he needs to be the most in-demand super trainer in this country for a very long time. I know you guys love Tony, and you love Autumn, and you love Jericho, and you love all of these people. Chris will be your favorite trainer, not because he's cut up, not because he looks good or he has a good jawline, but because of if you play Shift Shop without the video and you just have headphones in, you will never be more inspired in your life. I mean, that's the kind of program that it is. This is, in getting the Shift Shop, this is the hardest program Beachbody has ever released. It is the hardest meal plan. I shouldn't say hardest. I always say hardest. It's not the hardest. It is the most focused meal plan because it's actually pretty simple. Here's what you can eat. Here's what you can't eat. Good luck. It's the most focused meal plan you will ever do outside of the Ultimate Reset. And it is the most intense workout program you will ever do outside of nothing. Those two things combined for 21 days. Actually, if you're going to do the whole program, for 6 weeks. It's intense. The most amazing thing is on day one, if you put in that super speed workout, if you put that in on day one, you will not be able to do it. You will give up. You will tap out. You will be done. But if you put it in on week 6, you will rock the shit out of that workout. That's the shift. If you start with the meal plan where it's gluten-free, grain-free, it gets to be carb-free, yellow-free. And if you start there with the meal plan, with the workouts the way they are, you will fail at the meal plan. But in week 3, you will rock that meal plan. That's the shift. So if you're wondering what this program is about literally changing your life. Literally. Doesn't happen on day 1. Just like I said before, it doesn't. What happens on day 1, if you bring it on day 1 and you conquer day 1 and you make it to day 2, then you will conquer day 2, and you so on and so on and so on. The thing that makes it work, the thing that makes it happen are 2 things. Number 1, your challenge group, your support, the people around you, the battle that you're fighting with them, right? Not the battle that you're telling them to fight, the battle that you're fighting with them. Fight the battle with them. Don't just sit around and tell them how to do this program while you're eating Cheetos and drinking wine. I don't care what's happening, right? Literally do it. Fight the battle with them. Chris fought the battle with us the whole entire time. But and that's number 2. Number 1 is the challenge group, but number 2 is Chris Downing. Chris Downing is the most motivating human that's ever been on a workout program, DVD, on demand, whatever it is. He will push you to the point that you will be dead tired and cracking up at the same time. It's the most amazing thing. Chris, at one point in the workout, actually in the first week of the workout, he starts making fun of his calves, and I am dying laughing while straining and want to cry, and it's all of those emotions in one. And in that moment, you realize, okay, I'm doing this with a brother. I'm not doing this with a super trainer, right? And that's how it is the whole way through. And there's times when he's modifying moves because he can't do the damn moves, just like I can't do the damn moves. And we're all doing this together. And so regardless of the questions that you're going to have, and everybody's going to have these questions to try and be like, I want to know more about this program before I go into it. Don't worry about that stuff. What you need to focus on is, how am I going to get myself into a mental state to where no matter what happens for those 42 days, I'm going to conquer this workout program. That's where you need to be. Don't worry about, what do the markers mean? Are the colors different? Do I need dumbbells? Does that really matter? Does that really matter? When we signed up for this program, when we signed that piece of paper, we had no idea what we were signing up for. And that's why we were all successful. That's why we found success, because every day was a brand new journey. Every day was something we wouldn't expect. And then we went through it all together. We battled together. And this is a program that you're going to battle. This is a training program. This is not a workout program. This is a shifting program. This is not honestly, in my personal opinion, I don't think this is a lifestyle program. I don't think this is a program you're going to do every day of your life for the rest of your life. If you're going to do it perfect, you can definitely modify the program if you want to a little bit. But this is a program that's meant to change people, like put you in and literally change you. And it's a training program. It's to train you back into where you need to be, or into a place that you've never been before. Most likely a place you've never been before. But if I could tell you one thing, figure out a way to just be prepared for the program. Don't worry about the other things, because in the end, you're going to have the markers in your hand. You're going to have the weights. And in the end, you're just going to be following what's happening, right? You don't need to know everything about this program. I have so many people that ask me, what do you do after 3 weeks? What do you do? I'm like, you're going to ask me that question now? Ask me that after 3 weeks. I challenge you to ask me that after 3 perfect weeks of this program. And until then, shut up. Don't ask me that damn question. That's the most ridiculous question ever. That's like those people. This is my favorite question ever. I don't want to lose weight because I'm going to have loose skin. Because I don't know what to do with my loose skin. Are you kidding me? Like, what? You don't want to have loose skin? What? So you're telling me you don't want to change, you don't want to save your life for the off chance that you may be caught in a bathing suit with skin hanging over. Come on, man. That's the same thing. People have they have these built-in things to defend themselves away from this kind of stuff because they think they're not ready for it. Look up Jamie Phelps and tell me you can't do this program. Look up Karim Emery and Tulin Emery. Tell me you can't do this program. Look, that's 3 people. Tulin, Karim, and Jamie Phelps. Just look those 3 people up. You can look me up, too, because I was 367 pounds when I started this program. There are tons of people with limitations that had every excuse in the world to not do the hardest program known to Beachbody, and they did it. They rocked it. They got results. I mean, Karim has MS. Jamie has a lot of weight to lose. She's fit. I'm not going to tell you she's not fit. She's got a lot of weight to lose. I had a lot of weight to lose. We all did this program. You know, there are people with chronic arthritis. There are people with diabetes. There are people who just had kids. During the test group, some people had some of the most tragic things you could ever think happen. You know, and I'm not going to get into it because I'm not going to get into their personal lives, but, you know, there were some of the most tragic things that you could even imagine that happened in this test group. Those people worked out that day. Those people ate well that day. Maybe they missed their workout that day, but they ate the way they were supposed to eat that day because they knew that they were setting the example, and they are champions. And you guys can do that too. But it's just one day at a time, man. Don't worry about what this program looks like. You're going to do this program. You're going to finish this program. And when you're done this program, you're going to look back and you're going to say, I just set the greatest example for that one person, whether it's my mother-in-law, that person at work, that person that needs this more than anything. I finally set that example for them. I told this to Chris today, and I'll finish with this in his call today. You know, I told him, I said, I have never been less successful as a Beachbody coach than I was in that time before the Shift Shop challenge group or test group. And why is that? Because I wasn't focusing on myself. And like he said, I wasn't putting myself first. I wasn't allowing myself to strain for success. I was coasting on my own success. And regardless of if the reason was to help somebody else find success or not, I was still coasting on my own journey. And because of that, people stopped paying attention. People stopped caring about my results. Look, nobody on your timeline, no one on your timeline is going to join you based on some before and after that Beachbody posts. No one. They're going to join you based on what you do because they see you every day. And when they see you every day, they know that that's real. And so people who saw me every day saw me gain that weight back, and it gave them an excuse not to join me because it was an I told you so moment. Even if it's not a malicious thing in their head, they knew deep down that I was going to gain that weight back. And guess what I did? I proved them right. And now with the Shift Shop, I'm showing them that you can bounce back from that moment. And even as embarrassing as it was that I gained that 67 pounds back, when I lose that 67 pounds again, I'm going to look back and I'm going to say, look, here's what's possible. You've been through this. You have gained this weight back. And now I'm going to show you with this program what's possible. And now my challenge group, I have to make multiple challenge groups because so many people want to do this freaking program, not because of anybody else's results but mine. Don't count on anybody else's results but yours. That's the last thing I'll say, and I'll leave it with this. In any form of this business, financially, in developing coaches, in developing a team, don't count on anybody else's example but yours. Because your example is what's going to change those people's lives that know you. Because there is no excuse. They can't say it's photoshopped. They can't say it's fake. They can't say it's an actor because you're walking in front of them every day. No matter what the example is. Set that example. Be the example for everybody that you need. And you will find unlimited success with this business. So, I don't know how long that was, but that's it. That's all I got. And I can answer questions too. I got plenty of time and a little bit of coffee left. So, let's go till midnight.
Dave, that was so awesome. So like I had like the 40-minute Zoom and it like alerted me and I was like, I am not stopping him. So I was like paid to upgrade it as you were like talking.
Oh, snap. Well, hopefully you like sell a challenge pack tonight so that you can like pay for the
I was like, there's no way that I can stop him. Like this is like gold and like so much golden nuggets. So thank you so much. I don't know if anyone that's still on has any questions. I know like the chat was blowing up with a lot of different things.
Yeah, now that you upgraded, let's just stick around. Let's get some questions in here. Make it worth the while, at least.
Like, I still haven't eaten dinner, so. But does anyone on here have any questions before we hop off? I'm trying to think. I don't think there were questions, but yeah. Cindy?
Yeah, but if you do, I was going to scroll back, but I like suck at it. So if you have questions, just feel free to unmute yourself and ask.
I don't have any questions, but I just want to say, wow. Your whole journey had me in tears, to be perfectly honest with you, because I'm a nurse and I might even cry right now. And I see it every single day, and I see people go through those struggles and those heartaches, and it's always a question of why me? Like, I always hear why me, and it's never anyone looking in on themselves. It's looking outward and wondering why others have done, these things to them. And to know that you've found a better path for yourself is truly, truly rewarding. Just even in my line of work, even if I didn't help you, it's awesome. I think it's really awesome.
And that was the beginning. And, that nurse, and the doctor, both of them told me, they're like, you need to get this together. And I know that's hard for them to say, and hard for somebody like you to say. And because one of the things that I've realized is a lot of people don't even understand it, don't even realize it, because they've decided already that they're doomed, right? And so that to me is the most heartbreaking thing in the world, when you talk to somebody and they're just like, because my mom and my sister and my dad look like that, I'm going to look like this, and I'm going to die at this time, and I'm going to have this diabetes, I'm going to have this and deal with this because of that. And while genetics is a huge part of a lot of things, that's not an excuse to give up on trying to change your life. And you never know. Maybe it'll work out. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes you actually do change your life. My doctor said I wouldn't hit 30. I will be celebrating my 31st birthday in 2 weeks at Summit. And, hopefully I'll be on that stage next to Andrea, giving her a hug, doing that one thing that I wanted to do. And all of it was because that doctor told me the truth, and that is invaluable. So thank you for what you do. I always say that the two people that make the best coaches are nurses and teachers, because you guys are ruthless, and you're all really nice too. But yeah, man, that's a lesson that I think everybody needs. Don't be afraid. I always say this: people are worried that it's going to be embarrassing to talk to their family about weight issues and about health. But the reality is, how dare you not? How dare you not talk to them? The most selfish thing you can do is know that they're struggling and keep it to yourself. That's the most selfish thing you could do, especially as a health and fitness coach. The most selfish thing you could do is keep that to yourself, to look at somebody and be like, that person's gained weight, that person's not eating the way they should, that person drinks soda, smokes cigarettes. How dare you not be the one to help them and give them that lifeline? Worst case scenario, they're mad at you. Best case scenario, you've extended their life. I'll take my chances on that. I definitely will. So, and it took until that doctor's visit to realize that. So, yeah, it was, and it's still, like, every time I tell the story, it feels exactly the same. Sucks, but yeah, I tell people all the time, even after that moment, even after I, won $2,500 at the Beachbody Challenge and did all these things, I still went back. So it's a journey. It's a never-ending journey. But I wouldn't change any of that, because had I not gained that weight back, I never would have been introduced to the Shift Shop test group. I really believe that. And I honestly think this test group has been one of the most pivotal moments of my Beachbody career. And I'm going to say that everybody in that test group who's still going could probably say the same thing about it. This is just one of those programs. Like, if I was in the Insanity Max test group, if I was in the size test group, Sean T was always my guy. I would not be as changed as I am with this program, because I think it's that program that's going to make all the difference in this company. We were getting really corny for a while. Mm-hmm. Size, Country Heat, UV2, getting corny, right? That's fine. Some people need those programs. Some people love those programs. but we were losing that program, that real life-changing, in-your-face, it's time program. And we got it. So.
Yeah. And
nothing against UV2, but come on, man. Like,
I will say I am excited we have a kids portion though. Like that really excites me because there are a lot of obese kids out there that it really breaks my heart.
And UV2 is that's been I work with kids, so that's what I do. I work in children's mobile crisis, so we aren't necessarily like focused on the fitness, but it's so funny how connected mental health and physical health and nutrition actually is. And I've become so much better at my job and since I've become a Beachbody coach, just in knowing like, hey, maybe don't eat Skittles for dinner. Like maybe eat this. And wow, you don't have ADD anymore? Was it just like, that's amazing. Like, but yeah, but I do, and I love that UV2 is like almost a family friendly program too. I just, when I first saw the promo for it, I thought I was getting punked. I thought it was a BuzzFeed promo. I was like, because like as a member of the market council, we see the videos first, and I looked at it, I'm like, wait, is this a joke? Like, and then I was like, and then it came out, and people were loving it. I'm like, good, as long as people are loving it. But it was just like, for somebody in my shoes, it was ammunition because all of my friends love making fun of me for being the guy who does the home workouts, the home workouts, and that was the perfect example of the Richard Simmons home workouts.
Exactly what I thought.
right. And I was like, oh, no, I thought we were, oh, no.
Oh.
Country Heat. And look, people love Country Heat, but Country Heat was bad enough. It was like, oh, man, this is a line dancing program. But here's what I love about Country Heat that nobody talks about. Country Heat, and this is for you guys, just a little nugget that I'll give you at the end that has nothing to do with what we were supposed to be talking about, but this is what I do. Like I said, I still have coffee left. Country Heat is the absolute 100% greatest way to introduce the containers to people that have never done meal prep, right? That is why that program exists. Autumn did not want to make that program. I've talked to Autumn. She did not want to make Country Heat. She is a badass. She is like a crazy, like, I shouldn't stop at crazy. She's crazy obsessed about fitness and health. A little bit crazy in a good way. But she didn't want to release Country Heat as like a premier program. They released that program because they knew that there are people out there that love country music, that love line dancing, that needed those damn containers. So that's how you get those containers out to people, is that program. I wish they did the same. I don't know if UV2 has the containers. I hope it does. No, it doesn't. That's what I don't like that. Because that container system is money, man. And Beachbody owns the rights to that, I think. So, but whatever, that's business schematics. But yeah, that's in any way possible you can get that container system out. That's what's good.
UV2 did like a different meal plan where they said week 1 of UV2 you just have to add Shakeology, and then week 2 you choose one of their breakfasts, and then week 3 one of their lunches or something like that, and so it slowly like eases you.
Okay, so it's even slower than the containers. Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, I like that too. That's fine. But
for those people, I want to start my journey, but I don't want to start my journey kind of people.
Right. And that's a lot of people. The worst part is all of those people are like, they want to jump into Shift Shop. And I'm like, this is good. I mean, Shift Shop is for everybody, but I know it's really hard. So it's going to be, and I will say this for all you coaches, it's going to be really hard to keep people on pace. Have a plan ready for that and even don't be afraid if you're in some kind of thing where you're talking to Chris. I'm going to talk to Chris in the test group about this, and Jack and Addie, who are Beachbody people that kind of developed a meal plan, how to introduce people who are eating McDonald's every day to a meal plan that's grain, gluten, and sugar-free. That's going to be really tough. But at the same time, even if you have to use the UV2 meal plan approach for the first, like have a buffer week. I'm starting my test group on July 12th. Or July 10th. That's when I'm starting my test group. So in that first week, right, the week before Summit, I am introducing people to the concepts of why we're doing this. Not because I think they're dumb, but because I don't want them to jump into a test group that's just gung-ho on both fitness and nutrition without actually knowing why we're doing it. So we're going to study why why it's good to be in ketogenesis, or why it's good to do high intensity training, why it's good to lift weights and do cardio. It's literally going to be a learning session. We're going to do Sean Week, and we're going to do the chisel workouts. So an A-B schedule. So it's going to be cardio, strength, cardio, strength, cardio, strength with Sean Week and the chisel workouts, because I think they're pretty similar. And it's just going to be the intro to fitness, the intro to their fitness, because I know there's going to be a lot of people. I already know the people that are joining that challenge group, and I know that they have given up many times. So, and my way to prevent that is education and motivation and realness. The other thing I'm doing is I'm having them all sign contracts the same way I had to sign a contract for my test group, on what they have to do, what their expectations are, what their homework will be. And they're going to promise me that they're going to do it. And the other thing I'm going to do is something Chris made us do. He made us write a letter. I want my challengers to write a letter to the people that they want to inspire, the people in their life that they're fighting for, and just literally a letter to them. This is what I'm doing. This is my goal. This is how I'm doing it. And I wanted to hand it to all of them. One thing we did at Super Saturday that was really powerful was we had people write down a name, and everybody in the crowd had to write down a name on this piece of paper. And actually, how many people are left on this call? You guys all have a pen and paper? Or a phone? Anything you have that could write. I want you to write down the name of the most important person in your life. Just write it down and look at it. Like the person that counts on you, that just whoever that most important person is. Once you have it, I want you to kind of hold it up, if you can, if you don't have a dog in your lap. All right, so I don't have to see it, but I just want you to hold it up, and I want you to say this sentence. You can say it in your head. You don't have to say it out loud. I had the tools to change my life and put us in a better scenario, but I chose not to do it. But I chose to give up, and you weren't worth it. That, to me, it's funny, when we did this activity, like literally, if you say that person's name, I had the keys to success. I had the keys to change my life, to make me healthier, to make us healthier, but you weren't worth it. If you say that to yourself enough, if you say that when you're about to fail, when you're about to give up, I could have gotten this last rep, but you weren't worth it. I could have eaten a salad instead of pizza, but you weren't worth it. Think about that. That's what purpose is. So if you can get your challengers to that point where they have a purpose that's bigger than them. Because look, we love other people way more than we love ourselves. We love think about how many times have you said to your husband or your wife, I will never give up on you. I will never cheat on you. And then how many times have you gone and eaten fast food or eaten pizza when you weren't supposed to, and just without the shadow of a thought, cheated on yourself? It happens all the time. So maybe one time in your journey, do it for somebody else and just see what happens. Because what I found, maybe losing weight, like I lost 38 pounds, that weight, that was great for me. But what I found was I ended up putting my wife in us in a better financial place because of the people that I'm now able to help. And and I'm happier, so she's happier, right? And all of these things, it's all coming back to making her feel better. And that's always a goal. And that was the person that I would write down, right? That's the person that I would hold up and say, Lindsay McClain, I could have eaten well, but you weren't worth it. Your happiness wasn't worth it. Our financial freedom wasn't worth it. So keep that in mind and use that activity for your challengers when you guys get into that group, and make sure they keep that piece of paper with them. put it on the fridge, wherever they need, especially on the fridge. Put it on the fridge. That's the perfect place to put it. Or the cupboard, wherever they keep their chips. Yeah. Oh, and how much time, whatever. I got all the time in the world now. 2 more things. When you start shift shop, throw your shit food out. Throw it out. Throw it out. Don't say, I have kids, I have to have fruit snacks. Bullshit. They don't have to eat fruit snacks. Kids don't have to drink soda. Kids don't have to eat fruit snacks, Cheetos, bad food. Believe it or not, I don't know if you know this. This is crazy. This is like, I read this in a book somewhere. Kids can eat healthy. Did you, like, kids can eat healthy food. Kids don't. Right, I know, it's crazy, right? It's like kids don't have to drink sugary milk and soda. It's weird. I know it's weird, but they can, and guess what? Kids can throw a fit and still not get their way. Did you know that? Kids can actually have a hissy fit, scream and yell because they didn't get their SpaghettiOs, and then they can still not eat SpaghettiOs. It's amazing. Yeah, sure, it's a little harder. You're going to be a little more annoyed. You're probably doing something else. But you know what that is? You know who else does that? You. And you know what happened? You let yourself do it. And then you know what happened? You got fat. You got out of shape. You almost killed yourself. So don't let them kill themselves. And don't feed them stuff that's going to kill them. So this meal plan, sure, your husband is going to want to have cheesesteaks every night. Sorry. If you want that cheesesteak, eat it in the car. Eat your cheesesteak in the car. Eat your food somewhere else. If you have to have it. But if you don't, then why don't you join me? Why don't we eat this together? It's only 21 days, right? That's what we thought. It's only 21 days. It turned out to be, what are we on, like day 50? Ridiculous.
Yeah, day 50, and by the time Summit gets here, I think I calculated we'll be like 63 days in.
Yep.
And just like you, Sydney and I are doing our group starting July 17th, so I'll be 84 days in. And then 105 by the time round 2 is done. And if everybody wants to do round 3, 126.
I'm glad. I'll tell you what, everybody's all pissed off that their weight loss is slowing down. I'm actually kind of glad it is because I'm like calculating and I'm like, I'll be 375 pounds lighter by this time next year.
I'm not mad about it. As long as I keep leaning out, it's all good. I don't even care. Whatever.
Yeah, and again, it's a test group, and they're learning a lot about the program too. It seems like they want to seem like experts, but nobody has ever taken this program this far. So I'm sure things will change, and it'll evolve to where they'll figure out the perfect way to kind of do the different weeks. In case anybody doesn't know, the way the program works is every week is a different set of workouts, which is why it's not monotonous. The only monotonous part that we had was when we did the super workouts 2 weeks in a row. I actually was getting a little tired of those workouts. I was like, oh man, I can't do it. Like once you get to the end of the set, but it's a different set of workouts every week, so it doesn't get monotonous. It's awesome. That's what I love about it. And the meal plan changes every week, so that's not monotonous either. So.
Yeah, I didn't mind the 2 weeks back to back personally, just because it was like, I'm kind of competitive by nature. So it was like, what can I do better this week? Like,
right.
I didn't feel like I left it all on the table. And then for me, it worked out perfectly because I was road tripping at that point. So it was like, all I have to bring in is my sandbag.
Right.
So much easier than my Bowflexes.
Yeah, for sure. I would say that with Bowflexes. Yeah, I was at the point too where I was like, I was doing more weight than the sandbag. So I was like, all right, because I was in New Orleans and we worked out at a CrossFit gym for like 4 days or whatever. That was fun. Bringing my phone in and doing a little, doing a workout on my phone, and while these guys are doing like whatever chest ups or whatever the hell they do and all this stuff. But it was cool because it was a new workout, so I was like able to like give them a little sneak peek, like, oh, nobody's ever seen this before. Here, look how cool I am. Meanwhile, they're like, yeah, I just did deadlifts with 7,000 pounds and I'm like, yeah, but guess what you're doing? You're going to work with an ACL tear tomorrow. I'm not dealing with that. Even though this says the guy who just broke his toe. But I broke my toe mowing my lawn. So it wasn't because of shit shot.
Yeah.
I don't know what's more embarrassing. Breaking your toe in a home workout or breaking your toe mowing your lawn. It's all embarrassing.
Yeah. I think you should say you broke your toe like fighting off a shark. You know, it's summertime. They're
Right.
Like, I feel like
Yeah,
we should have a better story for this.
all those sharks in the middle of Philadelphia. It's just like they're just all over the place.
They were really coming for the city.
Land shark. It was a shark, but he had bare legs. It was a bear shark. He was running through the forest.
You could just say it was a downing bear.
Yeah, it was a downing bear. It was. And he had a shark head with a bear butt, and I grabbed the butt, and when I did, I slipped. Yeah, I got it. Now everybody will believe that.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the key. There is like a good story.
Well, if I say like there was like a burning house and there were babies in it, and I saved all the babies, then those I'll be a hero too. So I'll get a medal. It'll be awesome.
Done.
I'm excited.
All right. Well, I am gonna go eat my dinner. I'm gonna stop recording. Thank you so much.